Imagine this. You hear a knock at the door. You open it slightly just to see who's there, and before you can think, a police officer's boot wedges between your door and the frame. One wrong move and you could be in handcuffs before you even know what happened. Most people don't see it coming. They react normally. Open the door fully, step outside, try to cooperate, and that's exactly when control slips away. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact words and moves that keep the officer outside, keep you safe, and protect your rights, without arguing, shoving, or escalating the situation. By the end, you'll see why almost everyone fails at this first moment, and how you can be one of the few who does it right. The first mistake: opening the door blind. Most people hear a knock or doorbell and immediately reach for the handle. It feels normal, right? Socially conditioned. Someone's at the door, I should see who it is. But here's the problem. That instinct is exactly what puts you at risk. As soon as you open the door fully, you give away control. Your body is reachable, your space becomes shareable, your reactions are readable, and any sudden movement can be misinterpreted. Legally, you don't have to open the door at all. There's no law forcing you to answer if someone knocks. Most people don't realize this. They open the door, try to be polite, and suddenly they've walked right into a situation where the officer has more options than you do. Smarter move: look first. Use a peephole, window, or camera to see who's there. Decide before you open. Do you really need to interact right now? If you didn't call 911, you can safely choose not to answer. The key here is simple. Slow the situation down before you step into it. Don't let instinct override strategy. Step 2. Don't open the door fully. Control the opening. This is where most people lose control without realizing it. If you decide to respond to police at all, never fully open your door. The moment you swing it open, you've given up the strongest protection you have, the physical boundary of your home. Instead, open the door only a few inches, just enough to talk. If you have a chain, latch, or door bar, use it. That small gap is not about being rude, it's about maintaining control. Why this matters? When a door is fully open, officers can step forward, lean in, or claim they saw something inside. Even if you didn't invite them, it becomes your word against theirs later. A cracked door makes that much harder. Next, hands matter. Keep your hands visible and still, either at your sides or lightly resting on the door. Don't wave, don't point, don't reach into pockets or behind your back. Officers are trained to focus on hands, and sudden movements give them justification to escalate. Now let's talk about what you say. Most people start explaining. They get nervous, they talk too much, they volunteer information. Don't. Your words should be simple and neutral. How can I help you? That's it. No backstory, no apologies, no guessing why they're there. Almost every time, the officer will then say something like, "Can you step outside so we can talk?" This sounds harmless, but it's a trap. The moment you step outside, you give up the legal power of being inside your home. Outside, they control the space. Inside, you do. The correct response is calm and firm. I'm comfortable speaking right here. You're not refusing, you're not being aggressive, you're simply choosing the safest position legally. Cracked door, chain on, hands still, few words. That alone prevents most door encounters from turning into something bigger. Step 3. When officers stick a foot or hand in the door. The critical moment. Most people react instinctively when an officer wedges a foot or hand into the door. They shove, panic, or flail. That's exactly what gets people in trouble. Any physical contact can be considered assault, even if the officer is clearly wrong. Sudden movements instantly remove your control and give the officer leverage over the situation. What most people do wrong: push the officer away, leads to immediate legal trouble. Step back hastily without explaining themselves, can be misinterpreted. Raise their hands or make quick gestures, increases perceived threat. What you should do instead: step back slowly to avoid contact. Keep your hands visible at all times. Speak calmly and clearly. For example, I do not consent to entry or search, and I am invoking my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Why this works? Words are stronger than force. They set a clear boundary without escalating physically. You maintain control inside your home, where you have the strongest legal and practical advantage. Your calm, deliberate actions create a verifiable record if the interaction is later questioned. This moment is critical. Panic leads to mistakes. Calm and words give you protection. Step number 4. When the officer claims they have a warrant, stay protected. After you've calmly handled the officer sticking a foot or hand in the door, the situation can escalate further. Often, the next line you'll hear is, "I have a warrant, let me in." Most people immediately open the door at this point. A natural reaction, but a dangerous one. Once inside, you lose the safety and control of your home, and the interaction can escalate before you even realize it. What most people do wrong: open the door fully without verifying the warrant. Step aside and let officers in freely. Assume that the officer must show the warrant physically. What you should do instead: keep the door cracked or use a chain or other barrier. Never give full access immediately. Ask to see the warrant, politely but firmly. Speak clearly. I do not consent beyond the scope of the warrant. Why this works: you acknowledge the warrant without giving up more than legally required. Creates a clear verbal record of your boundaries and consent. Keeps you legally protected if the officer exceeds the warrant's limits. By handling this calmly and strategically, you maintain control inside your home, ensuring the officer cannot exploit your space or claim voluntary consent beyond the warrant. Step 5. Recording the interaction. The step most people forget. Once you've set your boundaries with the warrant, the next critical step many people overlook is recording the interaction. Even when you're calm and compliant, failing to document can leave you vulnerable if the situation escalates. Think about it. The officer may still enter your home, claim exigent circumstances, or misinterpret your movements. Without a recording, you have no objective evidence to show exactly what happened. What most people do wrong: assume politeness alone is enough to protect them. Forget to have their phone ready before the officer steps inside, move around or gesture, which can be misread. What you should do instead: start recording before the officer crosses the threshold. Use voice commands if your hands are occupied. Hey Siri, start recording. Keep your movements minimal and voice calm. Document, don't confront. Why this works: provides verifiable evidence of what actually happened, protects against misinterpretation or false claims, documents escalation, giving you legal leverage if needed. Recording isn't about confrontation, it's about transparency and protection. By capturing the interaction from the start, you stay one step ahead and keep your legal footing secure. Quick recap. Now that you've set boundaries, managed the warrant, and started recording, it's time to tie everything together. Most people panic at this point, rushing outside or letting nerves take control. But by following a clear plan, you stay inside, in charge, and legally protected. Step-by-step recap. Don't open the door blind. Always check through a peephole, window, or camera first. Crack the door, keep it short. Hands visible. Ask politely, "Officer, how can I help you?" If asked to step outside, "I'm comfortable speaking right here." Foot or hand in the door, step back slightly, stay calm, and say, "I do not consent to entry or search, and I am invoking my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent." Warrant claim. Keep the door cracked, request to see the warrant, and say, "I do not consent beyond the scope of the warrant." Record everything. Start before entry, minimal movement, calm voice. Document, don't confront. Final tips. Keep your tone calm and neutral. Avoid sudden or unnecessary movements. Make every word count. Stay polite, assert boundaries, and protect your rights. Remember, Most people lose control the moment they step outside or react too quickly. By following these steps, you maintain the safety of your home, stay in control of the interaction, and create a clear, documented record for your legal protection.